Good morning, Year Fives, and welcome to your reading lesson for today. I hope you've had a wonderful, wonderful weekend and that you managed to do something nice and fun. Thank you to all those children who've been sending their work via Teams, as well as those children who have been sending their work via email. So thank you so much for all of those lovely drawings and work that you have been producing over the past week. Keep it up. Those children who have reading eggs, remember you do not need to be doing this activity. You can log onto your reading eggs account now and do the next lesson. But for those of you who are going to be reading on with me, we're going to be carrying on with Stig of the Dump, and we're going to be looking at new vocabulary, which is going to be our learning objective for today. Right, so you can follow with me now, and here are your pages. Right, where's he live? Squeaked the smallest Snogget. Here, said Barney. Oh, chorused the Snoggets scornfully. What, in the dump? Jeered the eldest Snogget, and they all laughed as if he had made a joke. Yes, said Barney. Didn't you know? Go on, you can't half tell him, said the second. What's to do? Tell us that then. He makes bows out of television aerials and arrows out of bits of flint, replied Barney. The Snoggets gaped at him with open mouths. Look here, said the eldest at last. There's a Stig of yourn. What is he then? A boy or a man? Barney had to think a little before he answered. Then, he's a caveman, he said. At once the Snoggets burst into jeers and laughter again. Yeah, soppy old caveman. He's got it out of a school book. He's pulling your leg. Making out he knows a caveman. Come on, fellas, let's do him. Slow torture, they cried. Barney leapt off the pile of rubble he was standing on and set off at a run towards the other end of the pit. The Snoggets were after him with shrill cries. Off! Get him, fellas! Yeah, chicken, run away, will ya? Barney jumped fallen tree trunks and burst through the banks of nettles without caring for the stings. He knew the bottom of the pit better than the Snoggets, and he seemed to be leaving them behind. Then he heard the voice of the eldest. Take it easy, fellas. He can't get out of this end of the pit. Spread out so you don't double back. But Barney did not mean to double back. As quietly as he could, as so that his pursuers could not hear him through the nettled banks and alder trees, he made for the entrance to Stig's den, flung himself through the low doorway, and collapsed puffing, blowing, and pleased with himself on the floor of the cave. Stig was there, busy making himself a really horrible-looking club out of a tree root into which he was fixing bits of flint, broken glass, and rusty nails. Hello, Stig, panted Barney. I'm jolly glad to see you. But when he saw the horrible club, he began to feel almost sorry for the Snoggets. He couldn't set this monster onto three little boys who hadn't really done anything to him yet. It may have been only a game after all. You never could tell with the Snoggets. Barney just smiled uncertainly at Stig, and Stig returned him a friendly grin. Then from outside came the sound of the Snoggets calling to each other. Has he gone back your way, Ted? No, I ain't seen him. Must be hiding round about, or somewheres. There were sounds of the undergrowth being beaten and stones being flung into the bramble patches. Stig listened and looked at Barney suspiciously, but Barney made signs to be quiet. Go wait till I get my hands on you, Mr. Barney. Wherever you are, came the voice of the eldest Snogget. I'm all nettle stings one side of me face. We'll roll him in the nettles when we get him. That's what we'll do. He sounded as if he meant it, and Barney felt he was not quite so sorry for the Snoggets. Footsteps crackling on dry twigs sounded quite close to the den. Barney moved further back into the cave and made signs to Stig to do the same, but Stig stayed near the entrance, bristling. Suddenly the voice of the youngest Snogget piped up excitedly. There's a knoll! There's a knoll! Come out of it! And a large lump of chalk came flying in through the entrance and hit Stig smack on the side of the head. Stig gave one roar and charged out of his doorway. Barney threw himself after him to see what would happen. The youngest Snogget gave one pop-eyed, disbelieving look at Stig and turned and fled, sobbing and screaming. Ow! It's a K, 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 man! The other Snoggets, who had been closing in when they heard the youngest cry of discovery, saw Stig and turned and ran too. Wait for me, wait, don't leave me, wailed the youngest. and then uttered a shrill scream of terror as he put his foot through the bottom of a rusty enamel basin and fell headlong. Help, help, help! He's got me! He's got me! He's got me! Almost as alarmed as the young Snarket, Barney ran up to where Stig was standing over the boy, who was shivering and moaning with fright and looked as if he expected to be beaten on the spot. But Stig was standing there looking down at the fallen William Tell Snarket with an almost fatherly look in his eyes. He bent down to help the boy to his feet, and the Snarket moaned feebly, Don't, don't! Then seeing Barney approaching, he turned his eyes pitifully towards Barney and wailed, Don't let him hurt me! Don't let him hurt me! I wasn't doing no harm. But Stig kept hold of him and led him firmly but gently towards his den. Snarket gang troublemakers though they were not as black as they were painted. Anyway, they weren't the men to abandon one of their number to his fate, and perhaps too they had an idea that violence was not always the way to get things done. Stig, Barney, and their captive had not been long inside the den before there came the sound of hesitant footsteps from nearby. Barney looked out, and there were the two other Snarkets standing meekly together, unarmed and holding paper packets in their hands. Right, so those of you who have Teams, you can log on Teams and you can do the quiz now on the vocabulary that we've set out for you. For those children who have not got Teams and are still struggling to get on and complete the work, you can then do your grid and then go back in the video and find some words that you're not sure about and then find the meanings of those words. And once you have found the meanings of the words, you can use Google to look up the meanings and write them in, and then choose any two of those words and write them in two separate sentences for me. Okay, and that's your reading for today, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day of learning, and I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye.